Hi everybody and welcome back to my channel. My name is Catherine. I am a full-time makeup enthusiast, a part-time reseller, and my day job is a mental health therapist. So those are the types of things that I'll be talking about on this channel. If that's something that sounds interesting to you, then make sure to subscribe, like this video, which really helps out, and comment down below throughout the whole video. So today's video, we are actually going to hop into our switching of the shop my stashes, if you will. And if you're not familiar what a shop my stash is, basically it's me shopping my own makeup products and showing each product the love it deserves, and making sure that I'm not, wasting money on anything, and that I'm actually using the things that I buy. So each month I have a rotation of makeup products that I try to exclusively work out of. Doesn't always happen that way, but I definitely mainly use these products throughout the month. So each month I kind of review the previous, and then we pick out the new month together. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, then keep on watching. All right, so I always start off with, like I said, kind of reviewing the previous month's box and my thoughts on it, and then we will switch over to what we're picking out for March. So I always like to kind of start with skincare. So very exciting. I was actually able to finish up this Milk Hydro Grip primer this morning, actually. So she is all gone and will go in a future empties video as well. So that's exciting. Some other skincare, continuing to use the Super Goop glow screen as my sunscreen, and this actually will be going into March's as well. We have the e.l.f. Dewy Coconut Setting Mist. As you can tell, almost over halfway done. Again, this will be continuing on into the next month too, so hopefully we can get it all finished up. A lot of the skincare you'll see like kind of a theme that it typically takes a few months for me to go through, and sunscreen is one of those things that I go through quicker than makeup, obviously. So I typically will use them for about 2 months until I can get them all finished. So that's the same thing with the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I've had this around for quite some time and never really used it, but in comparison to last month's video, I got some pretty good usage out of it because it's not super deep, so I have a feeling I'll be hitting pan relatively soon. But that too will be going into March's Shop My Stash. Let's see. So another product that I finished up, I actually finished up quite a few products and you'll be seeing it throughout the video, was the Glow Recipe Water Glow Niacinamide Dewdrops. I was clearly able to finish this all up. This got super hyped, I think like on TikTok or Instagram or something like that. I actually got this in a BoxyCharm box 1 month. I think I actually got it in January if I'm not mistaken. And people were like going on and on and on about it and raving about it. It was good. Was it my favorite? No, but I'm glad that I was able to try it and finally used it all up. Another skincare that we'll be moving on to the next month is this Philosophy Hope in a Jar Skin Resurrection Overnight Power Hydrator. This I actually got into an influencer box, which if you don't know what that is, basically they send you products for free in for your review, basically. It's like almost getting PR. So I got that in this box, and I will be having a post on my Instagram relatively soon giving this review. And if you're not following me on Instagram, it is K.E. Campbell on Posh, and you can find me there. It's all linked below as well. So that too will be continuing on in March. I want to say this is the last skincare, taking a look at everything, that will be continuing over because it's almost gone. And that is the Kate Somerville Exfoliate Glow Moisturizer. So I typically like to use this at night. You can see it right there. She is almost gone. I will kind of alternate between this and then the Philosophy one, because this has AHAs and BHAs, and it does have like a skin what does it say? Skin burn alert, just because it's an exfoliator. So your skin gets more sensitive to the sun, and I already have sensitive skin as it is, so I kind of just alternate using it. So hopefully I'll be finished with this next month as well. And then the very last skincare product that I was actually able to finish up was this Tula Rose Glow and Get It Cooling and Brightening Eye Balm. This bad boy I've been working on forever. It does not go up anymore. And I liked it. It did have like a nice cooling effect. You do have to be careful because if you get a little bit too close to your eye, it's kind of minty and can kind of irritate it. So just be careful with that, but it's a nice product. So that too will be going in my empties video. All right, so moving into probably one of the most exciting things, finishing up this Tarte Found Sealer Multitasking Foundation. This I honestly think is probably the first foundation I've ever finished. Not gonna lie. So very cool. I know it looks like there's a little bit left in there, but there's not. I've tried pumping it out. It doesn't come out. So that's very exciting. I did enjoy this foundation. Obviously gonna hold off repurchasing it because I have so many others that I'm trying to work through, but pretty cool to be able to finish a foundation. I guess sticking with foundations, we'll continue on with that. So using the Charlotte's Beautiful Skin Foundation, I have mine in shade 2 Neutral, which to be honest, might be a tinge too dark for me. I might have fared better with the 1 Neutral, but I still really enjoyed this. This worked really well, and this would probably be a really great summer color for me. And for reference, I'm a fair to light neutral skin tone, kind of leaning more towards cool skin tone. So this is a little bit too dark. And then the other one that I paired it with, and I actually mixed these together and it turned out really well, was the NARS Soft Matte Complete Foundation, and this is in Mont Blanc or Light 2. I've had this in my collection for quite some time, and I think I got it maybe summer last year, and it just like, I wasn't in love with it, and I was like, yeah, okay, I'll keep it around, see what and I kind of forgot about it, and then I put it back into my routine, and I was like, oh, this actually is really good, especially mixed with the Charlotte skincare one. So I really do enjoy that. Let's see, I feel like I got like a cat hair. Yeah, it was cat hair. As far as powder, I'm still working on my Dior Powder No Powder in the shade 2 Neutral. Again, this is a little bit too dark for me at this time in the winter months, and probably could have done with the 1 Neutral, but still really like it. It doesn't look much different than what it did last time. I am working on kind of scraping off this embossing though, because it's almost dry panned on there, and I think is what's preventing it from, you know, me being able to get an even use out of it. But still really great powder, just kind of blurs everything. It doesn't do well with like mattifying or anything like that. It's just more of a blur powder, and that's exactly what it says, natural radiant blur effect. But it does say all day matte finish. I do not agree with that. I don't think it's matte. Continuing on with complexion products, we have the Fenty Match Stick in Amber. Love, love, love this for contouring. It's such a cool tone brown, perfect for contouring. Yeah, love this one. I might keep this in because so I have some other bronzers that I'm going to use, but to contour kind of out my chin, I think I'm going to keep this in for March as well. So I'm going to put that over there, just on the fly decision, if you will. One concealer that I didn't get too much use out of is the Tarte Shape Tape Glow Wand. So this is kind of the glowy version of Shape Tape, which to be honest, I wasn't a big fan of Shape Tape, but this is like a glowier version. This is in the color Sunbeam, just kind of on a doe foot. It's okay. It's not my favorite. It's actually probably really pretty as a highlighter. Maybe I'll keep it in as Yeah, okay, I'm gonna switch this out. I'm gonna use this as a highlighter instead of the highlighter that I have, because I put that highlighter on today, the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter one, and I noticed it was a little bit too deep, so this might be in place of that or in addition to. I don't know, we'll see. Another powder is the number 7 Lift and Illuminate Triple Action Finishing Powder in Light. This I feel like did a little bit better job with mattifying, but neither one of them were that great at mattifying, but still a nice finely milled powder for all over and just kind of just a blurring effect. So another exciting pan, this is the iconic London Contour Precision Duo Contour Pot in the shade Light. And so on the top, let's see if I can get it open. All right, on the top you have the powder version, and then on the bottom, oh, wonderful. I just dug my nail all into it. No. All right, give me a second. Okay, we're back. So I dug my finger all into it, into the powder, and then on the bottom is the, so don't make that same mistake, is the cream part of it, and that I actually used all the way up, which is exciting because I don't think I've ever finished a bronzer all the way up, if you will. I mean, maybe this is just a little half cheat because I only finished up half of it. But my biggest complaint was that the cream powder, or the cream, they just didn't have the equal parts of it, because the cream is obviously going to go quicker than the powder. So however, they should reconfigure that to make it a little bit more even, but I did enjoy this. As far as concealer, I think this is the only one I was using, was the NYX Bear With Me Concealer Serum in the shade, I think it was Light. This is a really nice concealer. This actually made a really nice foundation too. Using it all over the face, like on a more natural makeup kind of day. Really enjoyed that. Another product that I was actually surprised that I liked, because I had used this before last year and didn't necessarily love it because it was so sheer. I mean, it is sheer bronze. That's the title of it. Is the iconic London sheer bronze in Sunkiss. And actually what I realized is that if you use this and you kind of dot it onto, you know, the areas that you want to dot it onto, and kind of leave it for a little bit longer than what you would initially, you know, don't just put it on and then blend it out. Leave it for a little bit, kind of let it saturate, and then blend it out. And actually has better staying powder, and it's not as sheer. So actually really enjoyed this one, and that was a shock for me. Continuing on with bronzer, I used the Ofra, what did they call this? The Midi palette in Face It Light. And so there's something wrong with these pans. They're very, like, you can twirl them all around. They're not sitting there very tightly. So use this as like contour. This is bronzer, and then I used the middle one in as a highlighter. Really liked it. Bronzer has a lot of payoff, the contour not so much. So depending on your makeup preferences, maybe that helps you out, I don't know. As far as highlighter, I used the Wet n Wild Mega Glow highlighting powder, and this was in the shade, what shade was this? Blossom Glow, kind of a pinky highlighter, pinky peach. As you can see, my lovely tape job, because Wet n Wild products are just, the packaging is quite cheap, so typically breaks. Continuing on with cheeks, I did the Maybelline Cheek Heat in the shade Nude Burn. I feel like I used a lot, like half the tube up. It is a sheer one. Again, kind of the same thing with the iconic London one. If you leave it to saturate just a little bit longer than you think you would need to, then blend it out, has a more opaque kind of look. I mean, it's not gonna just be like plastered onto your face like you know, like the rosiest cheeks. It'll still have some translucence in there, but it will show up better, if that makes sense. And then this one, I didn't have it in my collection. I had just purchased it, and it was being shipped to me when we were talking about it last time. But this is the Pixie on the Glow Blush, and just like it says, it is a glowy blush. This was really pretty. Again, I just did it straight from the tube and kind of just went like whoop, and then sheared it out almost as a blush topper. And I have the shade Fleur. And then our last cheek product was the Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic in Pillow Talk. And I realized this actually looks more like a bronzer on me, like a glowy bronzer, than it does a blush. And so I probably should have gone something with a little bit lighter, but again, it's really nice for the summer when you're, you know, a little bit more tan. Now, as far as the eyes, I had the L'Oreal Paris, the Voluminous Noir Balm. Actually, I really liked this. It is quite balmy, for sure, but it's a silicone wand. You know, it's flexible, short, very thin, which is perfect for my hooded eyes. And I didn't notice any smudging or flaking or anything like that. So I actually really did enjoy this. As far as eyebrows, we have the Kosas Airbrow Fiber. This was in dark brown. Enjoyed it. We'll be continuing to use it in the future. And then as far as eyeshadows, we have the Auric Smoke Reflect. This one is in Temper, which is more of the rose gold one, and you can see I made a pretty good dent in there. And then we have the other one in Defiance, which is more of the bronzy one. Again, another pretty good dip in there. The eyeshadow that I used the least was this Wet n Wild Color Icon in Petalite. I think that's what they are calling it. So it's kind of this mauve-y shade. Really the only one that I used was this as like a transition shade, and this as a inner corner highlight, and for that, and it wasn't even that great. So I think I'm actually going to declutter this one because it just was not my favorite. The other one I used was e.l.f. in the Bite Size in Cream and Sugar, and that's what that looks like. I got some good use out of it, but the one that I used the absolute most was hands down the Natasha Denona Mini Love Palette. Definitely got a lot of use out of that one. Even most days I just use this all over the eyelid and into my crease, and that was it. It was beautiful. It's really nice to just be able to use one shadow and create a lot of different dimension with it. So anyways, that is my February Shop My Stash. Now give me a second, clean up, and then I'll show you March's. All right, so now we have March's Shop My Stash. So, and that's actually what I used everything for this look was in the March Shop My Stash. So I'll go through everything too. So again, the products that we're keeping in are the Exfoliate Poreless Putty Primer, trying to use this Tarte Shape Tape as a highlighter, a Fenty Matchstick for a contour, this Philosophy for a night moisturizer, the Glow Screen as a SPF, and then the Dewy Coconut Mist for setting spray. So another moisturizer, which I actually was using, throughout February as well, because I realized I didn't have, like, once I ran out of the niacinamide drops, I started using this again, which I think I was using in January too. I just forgot to mention it. Was this Beauty Stat Universal Pro Bio Moisture Boost Cream. So that's what she looks like, and I think I got this in a BoxyCharm or an Allure Beauty box at the beginning of the year, and really been liking it. It's a lightweight cream, so for a daytime moisturizer. So as far as foundation, I just recently got this Kosas Revealer Skin Improving Foundation. It has an SPF of 25. I got mine in the color Very Light Cool 120, which says very light with pink undertones. This I have noticed, this and the Revealer concealer, I think, pull a little bit more yellow. So like I said, I have a pretty, I would say, neutral tone leaning cool, but because I'd heard other people say it was a lot more yellow based, I definitely went for the cool tone, and I actually think has a really nice match. I mean, this is what I have on today, so excited to use that. Another foundation is the new Yves Saint Laurent foundation, kind of like a tinted moisturizer. It says Bare Look Tint. It's more than a moisturizer. I've used it before. I would almost say like a CC cream, if you will. But I have mine in the shade New 2. And then I'll probably be finishing up this NARS Light Reflecting Foundation little trial size that I also got in Mont Blanc, which is the same shade as the matte one that I got. For concealer, I chose two. This the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Concealer. Mine is in 3.75. And then I also picked up the KVD Good Apple Concealer, and mine is in Light 107. And this is the, no, Giorgio Armani is the concealer that I have on today. Let's see. So for eyebrows, I just picked this up yesterday. Super excited to use it. This is the, what do they call it? The Thick It and Stick It Thickening Brow Mascara. And I got mine in the color Espresso. It is what I have in my eyebrows today. This is the first day that I'm using it, but it definitely, I mean, they're stuck up there, and it did put in some really, I don't have like super sparse eyebrows. Like I do need to fill them in, but you know, you can tell I have eyebrows. And this actually did a really good job of filling them in and sticking them up, but the wand is quite big, so just be aware of that, because it can get a little bit messy. So you have to be a little bit more concentrated with this when you're working on it or doing your eyebrows first. Okay, what are we, oh, bronzer. So again, just picked up the e.l.f. Putty bronzer. Mine is in the shade Tan Lines. Again, what I have on today. It's a little bit dry, in my opinion, compared to some other putty bronzers, but this is the first time I'm using it, so we'll see. I wonder if it's just kind of like that first layer that's a little bit dry. And then for a powder one, I got this one in BoxyCharm. It was kind of funny. So BoxyCharm January, I got this, but it was in the medium shade, and it was gonna be way too dark, and I'd been wanting to try it. And so when February's BoxyCharm came around, they have you can do add-ons, and this was an add-on to it, so I actually picked it up in the shade Light to replace the medium. And the shade Light is called Motivate. For all over kind of light reflecting blurring powder, I have the Rare Beauty setting powder in the shade Light, which I think does a really good job of just kind of blurring everything out at the end. Also using the Rare Beauty mascara, which is another thing that I think I got in Allure Beauty box, if I'm not mistaken. The wand is a little bit big for me with my hooded eyes, but if you're extra careful, it works. And again, what I have in my eyes today. As far as blush, I've actually really been kind of liking picking out a cream blush as well as like a powder blush to kind of layer up. So I figured I would put in the iconic sheer blush in the color Rose Riot, and figure it might kind of do the same thing as the bronzer. And then the two blushes I have are the Milani Romantic Rose powder blush, which is has a really pretty rose embossing on it. So you can see this is a lot more neutral. And then another thing that I got in my BoxyCharm is the Hourglass Incandescent that's the shade. Ambient Strobe Lighting Blush in Incandescent Electra, and it's a nice kind of blush topper, so it kind of adds a little glow to your blush. far as under eye powder, I picked out the Wet n Wild Color Icon. They call this a bronzer. It's not a bronzer. This is in the shade Reserve Your Cabana. I actually did a whole video on reviewing all of my powders, and I had stated, I was like, yeah, I think I'm gonna put this in my next Shop My Stash, and so I followed through. But I got a big pan on it. Again, it has a little bit of a shimmer to it, and it's actually really nice for your under eye. It is not a bronzer. And then this was the highlight I was gonna go with, and I still might use it, the Hollywood Flawless Filter by Charlotte Tilbury. This is the little mini version. I always recommend a mini version. Mine is in the shade 3 Fair, and again, I could have done better with a lighter shade, but it is what it is at this point. So now probably the most exciting time is the palettes, the eyeshadow palettes. So I figured with March, you know, it's St. Patty's Day, kind of like the greens and whatnot. So I chose out, I feel like is actually like probably one of the best combination of eyeshadow palettes, because you can use them all together, you can use them on their own, and they're gonna make a lot of great looks. So the first one is the Melt Cosmetics Mary Jane palette, and recently I just got a Melt Cosmetics mystery bundle, so I'll link that in the cards up there, and then it's down below, and you can kind of see what Melt products I got. It was a good one, by the way. It was really good. So this is, I didn't get this one in it, but I did get something really cool. You have to watch it. So this is the Mary Jane palette. This came out last year, I believe. And this is what it looks like. So kind of a grungy neutral type of palette. This is what I have in my crease today, called Mari. So there was that. So this is kind of like your everyday neutral palette. And then we'll see, we'll go with this one. So then of course, St. Patty's Day, you have to bust out ColourPop Just My Luck palette, which is a beautiful green palette. So I had the Mari and crease. I have, let's see, yeah, so it's a little bit backwards. So then I have this in kind of my outer corner, which is Charmed, and then I have the Olive You just in the center of my lids, kind of like right in here. And then I have the Mary Jane, like really vibrant one, as my inner corner highlight. There is one more shade in the other palette that I'll share as well, but this is perfect for the March month. And I like how it has a lot of mixture of kind of grungy greens as well as like minty greens. And then this one, I love this one, the Kaleidos Flower Punk palette. I used this one last year, probably around this time as well. And you can tell it's well loved, which was actually, I mean, it's funny because this was probably one of my first like super colorful, like not really neutral palettes at all. It's still a little bit neutral, but definitely a lot more fun colors, and I had the most fun with it. So I also have this one, which is called Earthship, layered in the corner as well and into the crease. So I just thought that it would, like, yeah, it mixes in the greens, you got some neutrals, it's a little bit grungy, but then you have some other colors that can like make it poppy pink and all that kind of stuff. So I was just having a lot of fun picking those out. Oh, and the last thing that I have on my face is one of my new favorite lipsticks. This is the Bobbi Brown crushed lip color in blush. Honestly, I mean, it's your lip but better, and I don't ever go through lipsticks, but I've gone through quite a chunk of this already, so if that tells you anything. So anyways, that is March's Shop My Stash. I'm super excited to use all these makeup products. I always get reinvigorated at the beginning of the month, kind of picking out what I'm going to use throughout the month. It's always so much fun. So again, I will link my playlist of my 2021 and just the beginning of 2022 Shop My Stashes if you kind of want to see what other makeup products I have, and I'll also link some other videos down below that I think you would really like. So yeah, let me know what you thought. Did you like these picks, not like them? Do you do a Shop My Stash? I always love hearing from everybody, and with that, I'll see you later. Bye.